Everybody, thanks so much for joining us on this Tech Talk Live today. This has been a great discussion on watching television.
Probably one of our best Tech Talk Lives.
Probably one of the best Tech Talk Lives we have ever done. We have learned all about how to watch television accessibly and enjoy ourselves. And I'm sad to say we have reached the end of Tech Talk Live. Thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Hello, everybody. That was our joke intro for today. I hope you are all very confused about what was happening there.
You know, we were thinking to ourselves, how can we make people more confused about why we're here today?
We are all about more confusion on this show.
Yeah.
You want to learn how to use tech? Well, that's fine, but let's get confused while we're at it. Why not? Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Good morning.
Tech Talk Live. Good morning. It is a Thursday, and it's 11 o'clock Central, and that can only mean one thing.
An hour until lunch.
Well done. But also, Tech Talk Live.
It is Tech Talk Live.
I decided that our viewers are going to be called techies. You know how people always have, like, famous people always give names to their families.
Sure,
you know
sure.
So we're going to have techies. So to all you techies out there, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us again. It's great to have you here, and hope you are enjoying the background we have today. Which, for those of you who are not able to tell, it is a movie set.
Yeah.
Or, well, actually, I wouldn't say movie. It doesn't look quite that fancy. Let's say it's a TV set.
It's like a small cable TV.
Exactly.
Like a Hallmark TV
maybe
set,
like one of those local channels.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, public access.
Public access.
Wayne's World type background.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. But that's because today we are going to be talking about accessible television watching. Yeah. And Cory is going to be leading this one and giving us some great information. I am very excited.
Yes, you should be.
Yeah, he's going to be telling us all the tips and tricks for watching TV. Yeah, and everybody likes watching TV, so why not? But before we do that, of course, well, first of all, let's mention these are not eligible for ACVREP credits anymore. We are sorry, Cory, if you would mind hitting the sound effect there to.
Yes. I think it's this one. Oh, there we go.
There we go. So
I wasn't sure which one I was going to be.
I guess we could have rolled with it either way.
Yeah.
But yes, these are not eligible for that anymore. But I don't think too many people care. But let's just give you a heads up there.
Yeah.
And also, of course, we haven't said this for a while, but we probably should. But anybody new. First of all, apologies if we confused you in the intro there. But also, do feel free to put your questions and comments into the chat or the Q&A, and we will be answering them as we go along, as we always do. And that includes jokes. We always like to receive jokes, so please feel free to send us some of those.
Yeah.
And we do have our own joke, as always. So, Cory, take it away.
Before I jump into the joke, I do want to mention one quick thing. Anyone who got emails, both who might be new joining us today or have gotten some reminder emails, you may have seen that it changed a little bit, saying Vision Connections and Tech Talk Live. The reason for that is, if you remember, next session, September 30th, we are doing our Vision Connections virtual conference, and it's going to be starting at 10 a.m. Central. And our first 10 a.m. hour, we'll be talking about apps for iPhones. That'll be great for individuals on the job, but also good for at home as well. And then we'll roll into our 11 a.m. normal Tech Talk Live slot. We'll have two special guests.
Yeah, this is you say the normal slot, and it is normal because it's the same time, same place.
Yes,
but it's a bit of a special one because we have two special guests on.
Yeah, we have two special guests, Peter Tusick and
Samuel Seavey. And I believe it might even be Samuel Seavey the third or the second.
Oh,
so, yeah.
All right, or the fifth if you put them together. But if you and we're going to be talking about how assistive technology has changed our lives and allowed us to be more independent. And Luke will be sort of doing
moderating duties.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And then we'll be rolling into a 12 o'clock hour as well too. So anyways, long story short, if you notice that email, it is because next week is Vision Connections.
Correct. Did you mention that if people do want to join us for the full experience, how people would go about doing that?
All they're going to need to do is, if you're hearing us now, you've done everything you need to do. Excellent. You're just going to use your normal Tech Talk Live webinar login link that you used to join us today. You're going to use that next session on September 30th. Just remember, though, to come in at 10 a.m. Now, if you don't want to join us for the 10 a.m. iPhone, no problem. You can still log in at 11 a.m. And again, just use the normal link that you've used to join today's session.
Yeah, and after Tech Talk, we will be showing a lovely video that we have created about our agency here at Vision Forward. And then we'll be having some breakout rooms as well about the different services. I would imagine that's probably more for people who are in our area. But yeah, please feel free to join us for the whole thing. Yep, it's going to be free and it's going to be fun.
So back to our joke now. We had a staff member come in this morning.
Very excited.
She was very excited. Shout out to Mary. I think she told that to us this morning because I think she wanted us to use it today.
She told us it was the best joke she had ever heard.
Yeah, she stayed up all night writing this joke.
She did.
And I wish the night was a little longer. But I'm just kidding, Mary. All right, here we go. The joke. Why was the bee's hair sticky? Why was the bee's hair sticky? And let's give it a second in the chat. Maybe we'll get, I bet you somebody's going to come up with
Anybody
this.
Know why the bee's hair was sticky? In the meantime, I would like to read this joke here that was kindly provided by Marie. So thank you, Marie. And Cory, let's see if you know the answer to this.
Hit me.
What did the drummer name his twin girls?
What did the drummer? Hi-hat? No.
Would have worked.
Timber? Bass drum? That would be weird. I do not know.
Anna 1, Anna 2.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like that. That's pretty good.
Oh, no, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Marie, I feel like I've slandered you there because I wanted to go for the applause.
Yeah.
Oh, Douglas is here. Douglas
got it.
Well, let's listen.
All right.
Let's repeat the joke.
Why was the bee's hair sticky? Why was the bee's hair sticky? And what did Douglas say?
Question. Well, Douglas said, Cory.
Yes.
He must have used a honeycomb.
Hey, Mary and Doug and the same.
Good job.
Yeah, right.
This has been an excellent day for jokes so far.
It has.
Let's keep it up, everybody. But yeah, so feel free to put any more jokes that you have in the Q&A and chat. But in the meantime, we should probably get on to the topic at hand, which today is going to be accessible TV watching. Cory, why don't you give people a flavor, a slight taste of what is coming up?
Well, we have a lot to cover today, and as usual, we always have more information than we do time. So let me just talk really quickly. When we talk about accessible TV, we're going to be focusing on really one main platform today, but if we have time, we will demo a second platform, but we're for sure going to talk about it. So when we talk about accessible TV, first and foremost, we're going to be talking about ways to accessibly access TV content. And that could be either through Netflix or Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus. And that's by using a streaming box. And there's really two main streaming boxes that are really popular and also the most accessible. One is the Apple TV, and we're going to be doing some demonstrations today. And then the second is the Amazon Fire Stick or the Amazon Fire TV platform. In my opinion, those are probably your two best options for accessing streaming material. Roku, although Roku is quite popular, especially in the mainstream world. Although it does provide a screen reader, I would definitely say it is the least feature-rich of all three.
That's a shame because I'm a Roku user and I do enjoy using.
Roku is a great platform, but its accessibility is not good, especially from a screen reader standpoint, which is really kind of what we're kind of talking about today. So when we talk about accessible TV, we're not exactly talking about buying a television, coming home, connecting it up, and playing over-the-air TV, because in most cases, just moving through your channels is accessible. There are some issues with getting accessible TV guides, but there are ways now to access those through your cable company. Most cable companies do provide an accessible cable box that you can request that has a screen reader built in, so you're able to access the TV guide. You're able to record shows, access those recordings, and things like that. There is also, and this was just announced, new versions from Amazon.
Ooh.
There are TVs with the Amazon Fire platform built in.
Mhm.
So when we say the Apple TV, it's not actually a TV. It is a hockey puck sized device that plugs into an existing TV via HDMI and then allows you to access, again, streaming content like Netflix, Disney Plus.
I have only
Hulu,
one
and
question.
such. Yes.
What does HDMI stand for?
High definition. No, I have no idea.
If anybody knows, please put it in the chat.
I'm not sure. But so that's what, and that's also what the Amazon Fire Stick is. Again, it's a small device, plugs into the HDMI port of your TV and allows you to access that content. Amazon has also, they've had TVs from third-party vendors in the past. Insignia had a television with the Fire platform built into it. Android TV has also had some TVs with Android built into that powered it. But just recently, Amazon has announced that they're making their own televisions with the Amazon Fire Stick or the Amazon Fire platform built right into it.
So Amazon are going to be building these televisions to their specs.
Yep.
Excellent. I just to interject there, I own a third-party Amazon Fire TV at the moment, and I strongly dislike it.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So I'm glad to hear that Amazon are actually going to be making their own.
Now, one of the upsides to that, people might say, well, if I already have a TV, can I just buy a Fire Stick? Absolutely. But if you're in the market for a new television because maybe you have an old TV that doesn't even have HDMI input and you want to take advantage of some of these streaming boxes that we're talking about today, well, then I would definitely look at one of these new Amazon TVs that are coming out. First, they're definitely affordable. They have two different models that they're releasing. One's a little more affordable. One's a little more higher end with 4K and all that kind of stuff. But the other upside to them is because the Amazon Fire TV platform is built in, you're going to get a little extra accessibility of the TV. First, you're going to get a screen reader so that you can easily switch between the different inputs. So if you want HDMI 1, 2, 3, or the computer or RCA input, whatever it might be, the screen reader will allow you to move through and make those choices and know which input you're choosing.
Lovely.
So that's nice. Also, and I've not yet tested it, but from my understanding, the screen reader should also allow us to utilize the built-in TV guide that will be included so that you can access TV guide and know what's coming on at certain times and all that good stuff too.
That is quite exciting.
Yeah, so I'm excited about those. I think it's going to be really nice. But as I mentioned, today we are focusing on the external streaming boxes that you're going to connect to your television.
Just before we do that, Jim Denham has an answer for us.
Yeah.
HDMI, high definition media interface.
Oh, I had motion instead of media.
You were so close. Now, if anybody
You're
else,
pretty good at just making these up.
I was going to say, if anybody else has any other ideas, please feel free to send them over to us.
Yeah.
What could HDMI stand
just make
for in your world?
Hippopotamus, dinosaur, mountain, interrupt.
Yeah, that works well. If anybody agrees with Cory, let us know.
Yeah, prove me wrong.
Truth is relative.
Show me what it says. So, all right, so we are focusing today on these external boxes that you can plug into your TV.
Now, Cory.
Yes.
When we say external boxes, are we talking something the size of an old VCR here? What are we talking about?
Well, the Apple TV is about the size of a hockey puck, although it's not round, it's more square, but that's about what I would say that it's the size of.
How does it do if you hit it with a hockey stick?
It's not happy. You can do it once.
Okay.
That's about it.
As long as you score, it's probably worth it.
And also, then the Amazon Fire Stick is, what would you say it is?
It's around the size of a USB drive, maybe slightly larger.
Maybe two flash drives
maybe
wide,
two flash drives,
two flash drives long.
We have two different types here.
Yeah.
One of them is smaller than the other. Now, I don't know if that's because one of them is 4K, maybe has a better processor in it. Yeah, but
and they just announced new ones of those as well too. So I'm not even sure what those are going to look like.
But anyway, not very big, not very heavy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Both of them do require, like I said, connection via HDMI to your computer, and then they both need to be plugged in as well.
I have a question here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I believe that the Apple TV has an Ethernet port, but I could be wrong.
Sure does.
Okay. So you can hardwire that one. How about the Fire Stick?
Wi-Fi only for the Fire Stick.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, for the Fire Stick, it's Wi-Fi only. Apple TV also it has Wi-Fi, does have the Ethernet. I've run it both and really have not experienced much different. So from ease of access and not running a lot of cables, I think Wi-Fi is going to be just fine.
I agree with you, but I do wonder if you're streaming 4K content, how that affects things.
I've not had any issues streaming 4K. Yeah, from both Netflix and it's not been an issue.
It's really quite remarkable how that can be a thing. And I mean, to be fair, I guess, you know, the actual resolution is going to vary depending on the available bandwidth.
Yeah.
But yeah, the buffering with this stuff is really pretty amazing these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
All right. So both of our options, the Apple TV and the Amazon Fire Stick, provide us some accessibility options. And we're going to be focusing on vision specific today. They do both offer magnification. And the magnification, I like that they both provide magnification. And I think where the magnification is probably best suited for is just when navigating through the menus and finding the content. Once you start streaming the content, once you've picked your TV show or you picked your movie, you're really not going to be using magnification to watch it because it's just going to be way too difficult to be constantly panning around and seeing what, you know, everything you need to.
Can we, would you mind if we stopped there just briefly to discuss the Vision Buddy? Because I know we said we're going to mention it, and I thought maybe that would be a good point.
Absolutely.
We're talking about magnification. I feel like I keep interrupting you, so
that's fine.
I apologize. Actually, Douglas has also asked us, what is Forte? And I think that's he means 4K. What is 4? It's the number 4 and then the letter K, Douglas. And it's basically it's with regards to the resolution of the image. Now, if you are somebody who is blind and you're using audio description, this probably isn't going to be as relevant. But it's basically 4K is the current standard of resolution. So it's a high resolution image, which is
4,000 lines.
Right.
And now they're actually at 8K.
So now 8K is going to be the next thing. But it's basically with regards to, so you may have heard 1080 before or 720, and those are high definition kind of standards. And 4K is the next standard along from those, slightly sharper. To be honest, I can barely tell the difference. I think if you have a very large TV, then you can tell the difference. But for myself, I've never really cared too much. But that's just me. Okay, let's quickly talk Vision Buddy here. I believe we may have discussed this before, but in terms of magnification, as Cory was just discussing, there are wearable devices which are good for zooming in on television content. And the Vision Buddy is one of the good ones in that regard, because what it does is you can connect it to your cable box, or rather connect a streamer to your cable box. It's just kind of a rectangular metal box with some antennae on it. And what it does is it sends the image from your cable box directly into these VR goggles here, which obviously you would be wearing. So now you're seeing that content in the goggles directly. And it's kind of like sitting in a movie screen and having this big screen in front of you, and you're able to make it larger through pressing some buttons on the headset and magnifying things. So this is a cool option for kind of accessibly watching television content through magnification. I would say it's definitely going to be better than using the magnification built into, you know, some of these streaming boxes. And you know, the other thing you could do is use a regular wearable and use the camera in the front to look at your television. But the trouble with doing that is you'll lose some image clarity because you're looking at a screen through a camera, through a screen, and the light in the room is going to affect the clarity of the image and stuff like that. Whereas with the Vision Buddy, the image is sent directly into the glasses, and so you don't have any of those problems there. Okay, so Spencer here has a good point about the Vision Buddy. says Vision Buddy is interesting for watching TV and you could use it to watch Apple TV or the Fire Stick.
Yeah.
But he said there is a delay, which yes there is, and the magnification through the built-in camera is miserable. I'm not sure I would say it's miserable. That seems a little extreme, but it's not. It's definitely not the best in class. For the live magnification. And Spencer says it's worse than miserable.
All right.
So obviously has very strong opinions about the live image. Yeah, the Vision Buddy primarily, I would say, like, is great for watching television. And there is a delay, but I mean, that may or may not be an issue depending on, are there other people watching the television in the room? And if so, that delay could be an issue, but
I don't know. I mean, it's usually what, like
it's about a second and a half.
Yeah, and I don't think watching TV, even with someone else in the room, is a really big deal. I think where the delay really becomes a problem is when you want to try using it like to run your computer through it.
Oh yeah, that
or that's where the delay is really going to become a problem.
Yeah, for sure. Although saying that though, that because of the delay, there's a delay in the audio as well as the video. So if somebody's got the TV cranked up, you're going to be hearing the audio.
That's true.
A second and a half before you're hearing the headset. But
that's true.
I think there's some finagling you can do there. But yeah, I mean, if you're watching TV alone, at least I would say it's a really great option for doing that and being able to magnify. And I'm hoping they can get that delay down, although who knows whether that's technically possible or not. Anyway, that's my piece done.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I think from a magnification standpoint for watching TV, using a device like the Vision Buddy is really going to be your better option than trying to use the built-in magnification on your TV or on your streaming box.
Yeah,
it's just going to just be much easier.
Yeah, the nice thing about it is when you zoom in with the Vision Buddy, for example, you have inertial panning, so you can just move your head up and down, left and right, and that will allow you to pan around, the screen and everything, rather than having to use a controller and trying to like press the buttons to pan around or whatever.
Moving your fingers just right. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so when we're going to be demonstrating the Apple TV mostly today, and so first let's talk about the similarities. They basically do a lot of the exact same thing. They both have magnification. They both have a screen reader built in. They're both going to allow us to access Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Max, any of those streaming platforms that you hear about. Both the Amazon Fire TV Stick and Apple TV are going to provide you access to it.
We could literally spend the rest of the show just naming.
Yeah, you really could. You really could. Obviously, on the Apple TV, you're going to be able to access all of your Apple content. So your iTunes movies, your Apple TV Plus subscriptions and TV shows that are specific to Apple TV. And then at the Amazon Fire Stick, you currently cannot access any of your iTunes movies that you may have purchased. There's talk, and they might have even done it already. I'm not an Amazon Fire Stick user, so not a daily user. There's talk about pushing the Apple TV app to those so that you can watch Apple TV Plus TV shows and movies on other platforms, and they may have done that already.
That would seem to make some business sense.
Buying content for sure, iTunes content, you for sure can't see up. So you may ask, price is the other big difference. The Apple TV, there are a couple different models depending on how much storage you want. I just recommend getting the least amount of storage, mostly because if you're not playing games on it, you don't need all that storage. I believe it starts at like $159, $139. It's in that range, $160-ish, where the Fire Stick you can pick up for $59, $49. So obviously it's much less expensive. And so your question might be, well, which one should I pick? Well, if budget is your main deciding factor, in my opinion, then you're going to want to go with the Amazon Fire Stick. It's a third of the cost, and it's going to provide you access to almost all of the same information and content that you'd want. If budget isn't as important to you and performance is more important, then I recommend the Apple TV. I find that voiceover on the Apple TV is much more responsive. I can quickly scroll through long lists and tons of content and move around quite quickly with no performance lag and no issues at all. I find that on the Amazon Fire TV Voice View, its built-in screen reader, there's some definite performance issues. It drags a little bit as you move around quickly, but I'm an impatient person and like to quickly move through things. So for me, the Apple TV was more important.
And the Amazon, the third-party TV that I have with the Fire stuff built in at the moment, the reason I don't like it is because it's so laggy, which isn't really Amazon's fault because they didn't build the TV.
Well, I think it's a combination, though. I think their platform is laggy in general. A lot of people do complain, even those not using accessibility, like you're mentioning, it is still laggy, even buying a Fire Stick and just using it straight up with nothing. People do complain about performance. Yes. But you're also talking a third of the cost.
Yep, very true, very true.
So we're going to look at the Apple TV first here. So do you want to switch over to our TV camera?
This is a new camera that we have as well. So,
yeah.
See how we get on here. And there is a picture of a lovely dog.
Hello, lovely dog. Yeah. So before we jump in, the way you interact with your Apple TV is via a remote control that comes with the device. Apple had just announced a new remote within the last 6 months, and it is definitely an improvement over the previous remote. The previous remote was very thin, and the whole top half of it was a touchpad that you swiped up, down, left, right, and then pushed down on the whole thing for like enter or select. So anyone who's using any touchscreen device with a screen reader would be familiar with the flick gestures. It was really hard to figure out where the top and the bottom of the remote was. And by the time you did, you then now performed a bunch of gestures on the touchpad. It was just a nightmare. Most people didn't like it. So Apple has now released a new remote that does come with the new versions of the Apple TV 4K, or you can buy it separately and pair it with your old Apple TV generations as well, too. And that's the remote I'm using here, and I highly recommend it. There's some differences. They've made it bigger. They've moved the Siri button onto the right-hand side of the remote. But most importantly, they've now given us a normal direction pad, up, down, left, and right. And in the center is a select button, and that select button is also still a touch sensitive pad. So we can still swipe up, down, left, and right on that pad if you prefer using that gesture. So it's really giving us the best of both worlds. So I recommend it.
If you're a voiceover user on the iPhone, then that might feel somewhat familiar.
Yeah, but I will say, and again, maybe this is a personal preference, but anytime I can use a physical button to do something, give me a physical button.
Fair enough.
It's just, I find it to be a lot easier.
You get that kind of tactile response that you don't get with a touch screen.
Exactly. And I find it from an ergonomic standpoint and like carpal tunnel, I find it much easier to just press, then swipe.
Totally. Yeah.
So we are going to wake up our Apple TV here if it's not already awake.
Netflix, row 2, column 1.
There we go. Oh, you know what?
Row 2, column 2.
Let's unmute the TV mic so you guys can actually hear. So we are now at our home screen of our Apple TV. And this is very similar to the home screen on an iPad or an iPhone, where you have your grid of your columns and rows of your different apps. And we can rearrange them however we want to. And we'll use our remote. We can simply, unlike
YouTube, row 3, column 2.
So stop talking. Unlike the iPhone, where we have to continuously swipe right to always move, we can't really move down, not easily.
Wheel fireplaces, row 4,
the difference here is that with this remote, because we have an up, down, left, right dedicated buttons, we can actually move in any of the 4 directions we want. So if we want to move up,
wheel fireplace, YouTube, row 3,
we can
column
just
2.
hit up.
Infuse, row 2, column 2.
And we always hear the coordinates, so I'm in row 2, column 2. So
Arcade,
if I go
row
over to
column
the
2, top shelf contains
keep
available.
hitting the
Music,
touchpad.
Disney Plus, row 2, column 3. Infuse, row 2, column 2. Netflix, row 2, column 1.
So row 2, column 1. So we're getting the cell coordinates, and that's been normal on Apple TV for a while. So as we move around, VoiceOver, the screen reader, is going to announce whatever we land on. Now, for those that might not have VoiceOver built in or don't have it turned on by default, When you get your Apple TV and you pull it out of the box, you plug it into the wall and you put it into your HDMI and you turn it on, you will be prompted that the iOS will, or Apple TV OS will tell you how to turn on VoiceOver by default so that you can set it up right from the get-go independently.
And just you've got to love that. Right?
I know, I love that.
Yeah.
It really, I mean, iPhones, iPads, Macs, you know, all of it, being able to just do it independently is such a huge thing.
And I believe Windows is the same now.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very nice, very nice.
So let me quickly do a little discussion, a little description of the Apple TV remote. We're talking about the new one so that when you get it, you'll know which buttons I'm talking about. So on the remote itself, on the right spine, so the skinny side of the right side of the remote, there's just a single rectangle button, and that's our Siri button. We'll talk about using Siri in a little bit. If we then move to the front of the remote, in the top right corner, we have a small round button. That's a power button. That's going to turn off your Apple TV and also turn off your television if it supports that feature. Then below that, right in the center, we have our up, down, left, right with that center select or touch sensitive surface. Below that, we have two columns. On the left-hand side, we have three buttons going vertically. The top one is our back button. Our middle one is our play pause. And our bottom leftmost button is mute. And then if we move over to the right column, now we have actually technically two buttons here. The bottom one is kind of a double-sized button. The top right one is our home button. And then the right-hand side is volume up and volume down. And you'll feel that that's a double-sized vertical rocker.
Do they have any kind of tactile markings, or is it just a case of memorizing what the different buttons are?
Yeah, the back button, well, you know, they might even call it the menu button. I always call it the back button because it moves you back. I think they actually call it the menu button technically. That's a little concave. So that's going to be the top one on that left column of the three. It is a little more concave than the other two below it are. And actually all of them, it's the only one that's really concave. Okay. And that is the button that we hit 3 times in order to turn VoiceOver on and off.
For some reason, that seems familiar.
Yeah, you think of it as your home button. So if we hit it 3 times,
VoiceOver off.
We have it turn off because we had it on, and again,
VoiceOver on. Netflix, row 2, column 1.
And
Netflix,
we can turn it back on.
Quick question for you.
Yep.
If you don't set up VoiceOver when you first, turn on the TV or something, would you be able to use that triple click?
You know, that is a great question. And I don't know if I think it's turned on by default. So I do believe so.
Okay.
Otherwise, if the Apple TVs are already set up and connected, you can always use the Siri button like you do on your iPhone or iPad and go ahead and turn it on and off that way as well too. Now, if neither of those are working and you need sighted assistance, let me show you really quick where you can go, where you can have somebody go in the menus, both to turn it on, but also so that we can go in and adjust some of our some of the different, if we want, speaking rate and things like that about VoiceOver.
Channels,
so
Netflix,
first, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our settings app. Now, we could use our up, down, left, right. We can find it in this home screen and hit our select button, or we'll just use Siri. Open settings.
Netflix, row 2, column 1.
Come on.
System button,
There you
10,
go.
11.
All right, so it opened up our settings for us. Now, it took me a little farther down the menu. You heard 10 of 11 because I was in settings before, making sure we were connected to our Wi-Fi. And so it moved us, it kind of remembered our place in the menu. But it is now vertical, so we'll just go ahead and we'll go down to the bottom, and we're going to work our way. Well, actually, you know what? We'll go all the way to the top.
App except from air notification user general button.
There we go. So we got general up at the top. We'll come down.
Users and accounts button, 2 of 11.
Users and accounts.
Video and audio button, 3 of 11. Notifications button, 4 of 11. AirPlay and HomeKit button, 5 of 11. Remotes and devices button, 6 of 11. Accessibility button, 7 of 11.
And that's our choice that we want, accessibility. So I'm going to go ahead and press the center of that direction pad.
Vision, VoiceOver on button, 1 of 7.
And I always love how it tells us exactly how many options. VoiceOver is right up top, so let's go ahead and choose that.
VoiceOver on, 1 of 2.
So we've got it on. Now we'll come down.
Voiceover help button 2 of 2.
And we got our help right
Navigation
there.
style. Direct touch 1 of 1.
We can come down. We can choose our navigation style. We're not going to get into that today just because it's a little bit more advanced, but there's a couple different ways you can set up your remote and the way you can navigate with VoiceOver.
Verbosity button 1 of 1.
Verbosity, that is going to, oh, it's not going to say it. Usually you've got kind of those hints that come on, so it tells you what you can do. You can turn those things off once you get real comfortable with using it.
Speech, voice, Alex button 1 of 4.
Speech, this is where we can go in and change which voice you want to use. I'm using Alex, but you can use a bunch of different voices.
Pronunciations button 2
You
of 4.
can also change, I believe, your speaking rate in there as well.
Speech rate
Oh, there it
66%
is.
button
There's speech
3 of
rate.
4.
So we can go in and change. Now let's actually change our speaking rate because it might be
Speech
a
rate
little fast.
adjustable 68%.
So it's at 68. So let's go.
66%, 64%.
So I'm just using my left arrow
65%,
right now.
63%, 61%, 59%,
We'll go to
57,
50.
55%.
Oh, that's slow. And we'll hit enter. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to hit my back button again. That's the one that's a little more concaved. You're going to see that it takes us back to our
3 of 4.
previous menu we were at. Each press of that back button is just going to keep taking us one step back.
Is there any way to go directly back
Sure.
to?
Yep.
Okay.
That's going to be
All
that
right.
home button right above the up volume. Now,
Got you.
by default, the Apple TV, its home button is actually set up to bring up the TV app on your device. I've gone into the settings here and I've changed it because I rarely use the TV app. I set it up so that when I hit my home button, it
Netflix, row 2,
it
column
closes
1.
it and takes me right back to
Swipe
my
up for
home.
full
With the
screen.
TV app, then is that live TV?
Good question. No. And we should have mentioned that right from the get-go. Both the Apple TV and the Amazon Fire Stick do not, well, they do not allow you to, by default, watch live television. And I say by default because there are ways of doing it, right? If you sign up for the YouTube TV package or Sling TV, or if you're a Charter, Spectrum cable subscriber, you can download the Spectrum app and watch live TV that way. So there are ways to watch live TV, but not by default. So under settings and accessibility is where you'll go to change and modify your settings to the way you want to turn on VoiceOver, speech rate, all that good stuff. All right, now that we've got it running now, let's take a look at navigating through some of our favorite apps. Now, we did mention that the device does allow us to do Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus. By default, though, when you get your device, you won't have those apps. So you are going to sign into the App Store, just like on your other iOS devices, and you'll go into the App Store and do a search for a specific app. Now, we already have one. We have most of these all installed, but let's just take a look really quick so you know what that process looks like. So I'm going to go up.
App Store.
And there's our App Store. So I'm going to go ahead and hit
Content
OK.
available menu. Tab menu. Discover. Tab 1 of 6.
And you heard Discover tab 1 of 6. So the Apple TV likes to use a very similar way of doing things. And it's usually tabs going across the top of the screen, if I'm not mistaken. And we use our right and left arrows to move through the different tabs, and then either OK or down arrow to then go into those tabs. Now, Discover is the first one, but we're going to look for some, we're going to move to the right.
Apps tab 2 of 6.
Now we could look at a long list of apps. We'll keep going to the right.
Games tab 3 of 6. Arcade tab 4 of 6. Purchased tab
Keep
5
going.
of 6. Search tab
And there's
6 of
search.
6.
I'm going to go ahead and hit OK on
Keyboard,
search.
A.
This brought
Alpha.
up a keyboard.
Alpha.
Now, I will say, this is a big downfall of the Apple TV. Its on-screen keyboard is a nightmare to use. I'm not a big fan of it. Basically, the way it is it's one long horizontal right to left list of all of the letters right in a row. Boom, 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 boom. So, for example, if we want to look for Netflix, we're going to have to move all the way to the right to N.
B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N.
And then hit
November,
OK.
N.
Now back to
N, L,
E.
K, J, I, H, G, F, E.
Then the T.
I would like to suggest something. With the new remote,
Yes.
it's probably a little easier than it
Tango.
was before, at least.
Yeah.
Because you've got the
Oh,
physical button.
yes, you're
to
not
move left and right. Yeah,
You're right. Yeah. Now the F.
Still a pain, but a little easier.
J, I, H, G, F, F.
And just
G,
as a
I,
side
J,
note,
K, L
Let me just
L
finish this.
K J I
I,
K
X,
P T U V W X.
right? It's
X-ray.
FLIX, right?
X-ray.
That's right. Okay.
X.
All right.
Netflix.
Side note, you can typically in most edit fields, you can also use the Siri button to dictate as well, too, just as a side note.
Excellent.
We're going to go down arrow.
Kanji King TV puzzle artwork button 3 of 3.
Well, that's weird. Let's go to
Netflix.
the left.
Shuffle for Netflix. Find something. Netflix.
There it
Start
is.
watching
Hey.
artwork button.
So I'm going to
1
go
of
ahead
3.
and hit OK on that
Open button.
option. And you see
Artwork,
here that
image,
I have
artwork,
open
Netflix,
because
image,
I already
Netflix.
have it
Start
installed.
Watch TV shows and movies recommended just for you,
All right, stop
including
talking.
award-winning Netflix original series,
All
movies,
right.
and
Can we
documentaries.
do a two-finger?
No,
Netflix has something
I
for
haven't
everyone.
figured out. There must
There's
be a
new
way.
safe watching
Yes.
experience just for kids with
Stop.
family-friendly entertainment.
Nope.
How does
No,
Netflix work?
I
Bullet
am
Netflix
gonna
adds
get out
TV
of here.
shows and movies all the time. Browse
So,
titles or search
hey,
for
I
your
stopped.
favorite.
I told you to
Netflix.
stop.
Start
Okay.
watching artwork.
So
button,
one of the
3.
things he's probably going to read it all again.
Netflix.
Too. Yeah, I knew it was. You saw there I had an open button. You saw or heard it said open. If you've not yet downloaded an app, it would either say get or install, or there'd be a price there if you had to pay for it. And so then you'd go and follow through with that purchase. Once it's downloaded, then it'll end up and show up on your home screen. Again, very similar to iOS on your iPad or iPhone.
And so the first time that you use the
App
App
Store,
Store,
row 1, column 1, top
if you
shelf
have an
content
existing, account,
Mhm.
then you would be able to just sign in with your existing ID. But presumably, then there would be an option to create an account. If you don't
Yeah,
have
and,
one
and
already.
that typically would happen while you're setting up the Apple
I
TV
see,
for
I
the
see.
first time, because you're going to ask you to sign in with your Apple account and all that good
Is it
stuff.
necessary to put credit card details in, or is that not necessary?
I don't know on the Apple TV, because I know on the iPhone there's a way to go in and touch other options and then sign up without.
Yes.
I've not done it on the Apple TV. I would assume it's probably the same. They probably have that same option kind of buried a little bit as well.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how you get your app. Once you have the app installed, then you're going to go ahead and find it on your home screen, launch it. Most likely, you're going to need to sign in for that app.
Arcade App Store.
So we're going to go to Netflix. We're going to open it up.
Selected movies 4 of 6.
And I have
Selected movies 4 of 6.
I have Netflix opened up here. And again, it does support separate profiles. So if you've got a couple different profiles in your Netflix, mine went right into my profile because we were in here just a little bit ago. Now, Luke, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say something and you tell me if I'm wrong visually.
Okay.
But on the left-hand side of the screen going vertically, you've got a couple different options from home, TV, movies, and so forth, right?
You do, but I will say that disappears when you're in the main area of the screen.
Okay, so in order to get it pop up, if we go to the left,
it's
I'm
actually,
already
we're actually
there.
there already.
Okay, yeah.
My list 5 of 6.
so I'm in there's 6 here.
Selected
So let's go. There's
movies 4 of 6.
and I can
TV
go
shows,
up to
3 of
TV.
6.
And when I choose one
Selected
of these, then we'll choose
4 of
movies.
family
Then
comedies,
I'm-
Little Monsters.
It's
1 of
disappeared,
75.
and now I'm sort of in, in the center area here. And these have different strips, I sometimes call them. And they can be navigated with your up and down arrow. And each of those strips are different categories: action, comedy, family friendly. And then once you land in sort of a genre or a category you're interested in, then you move right and left through the different movies. So if
The Christmas Chronicles 2 of crime movies.
down,
Icarus 1 of
there's
74.
crime movies.
Dramas based on books. An Unfinished
Dramas.
Life 1 of Spotlight 1 of 1.
Oop.
Play button. Dramas based on books. And Spotlight 1
I
of
keep
1.
having this
Play
every so
button.
often where it's
Dramas
getting
based on
stuck in
books.
just
And
these
Spotlight
two-
1 of popular on Netflix.
There we
School
go.
of Rock 2 of
Okay.
75.
So here's the category popular on Netflix, and it said 2 of 75. So obviously, if I go over to the left
The
one,
Karate Kid Part
there's
2
one.
1 of 75.
Go to the
School
right.
of Rock 2 of 75.
Right.
The Karate Kid Part 3 3 of
Oh,
75.
Karate Kid. Wow.
Django Unchained 4 of
All
75.
right, let's go back over to School of
The
Rock,
Kids 2 of School of Rock
and I'm
2
going to
of
hit
75.
OK or the center button, and then we
Play button.
have a
1 of
play
3.
button. We should be able to get some other information here too. Sometimes I find with Netflix that it typically should read us the description, and it's not right now. It mostly might be because we were in here just a moment ago playing it before we went live. But typically it will read you the description. Let me try an up arrow. Sometimes that'll do it. No.
Add to my list button. 2
Down
of
arrow
3.
will allow me to add it to my list.
Rate this title.
I can
3 of
rate
3.
it as well, but let's go
Add
back
to my
up
list.
to play.
Play button. 1
Let
of
me try
3.
a right arrow. Nope. There you go. You hear the little dunk noises. that tells you that you can't go that direction. And you'll find on both platforms, as you're getting used to it, you sometimes just try up, down, left, right, and see which direction you need to move in. As I mentioned, it typically should read us the description. It's not right now. Sometimes I find if I go out and then come back in again, it will do it. But we're sitting on our play button. Now, besides accessing all of this content, which is great, another thing that makes watching TV accessible is audio description. For those that are not familiar, audio description is a special audio track that has been added to content that has a narrator who's talking and describing what's going on during the TV or movie, but in between any dialogue. So you're not missing any of the important parts of the movie, but it's filling in any gaps as you're watching it. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Hulu, HBO Max, and I'm probably missing some other ones, all provide audio description. Now, not everything you pick on those any of those platforms is automatically going to have audio description. Most original content, both in Netflix and Amazon Prime, they typically have audio description right off the bat, but we are just seeing an explosion of audio description in the last year. We are just seeing more and more platforms and more content coming out with audio description.
As it should.
Yeah, absolutely. It has made a huge difference. Now, one other thing I want to say about audio description, a lot of times people will say, well, I'm watching it with a sighted individual and it'll annoy them. Or the sighted person says, man, that's annoying. Let me just say this.
I would say suck it up.
Well, that's really what I do want to say, honestly. But give it a chance. Yes, in the beginning, it is annoying. When I first lost my vision and I started using audio description, I thought, holy cow, this is annoying. But it was new. I never did it before, just like a screen reader when I first started using it. Once I started getting comfortable with it, I won't watch something now if it doesn't have audio description. My wife now also loves watching content with audio description because she sits a lot of times and is knitting or doing some kind of craft project or crocheting. Then now she doesn't even have to look at the TV at all, and she can still enjoy it just as much as I am.
It's almost like a talking book at that point.
It really does become it, and it adds so much to the content.
Yeah.
So let's choose School of Rock here, and I know this has audio description. Let's listen to what it sounds like, and then I'm also going to show you where to turn it on in case you don't have it on. So we'll go ahead and hit enter. Now we can only watch it for a moment here because of YouTube.
That is a shame.
Rated PG-13, some rude humor and drug references.
Let it play.
Silver and gold stars fly down through clouds and encircle the word Paramount atop a snow-capped mountain peak.
There's that audio
Paramount,
description.
a Viacom company.
Let's go for just one more second here.
Credits initially appear as slogans on jackets and posters around a rock club. Paramount Pictures presents.
I'm going to go ahead and pause it here. So as you have heard, we had a male voice starting to narrate both the beginning kind of intro of Paramount and then started reading the credits as well, too.
Very pleasant voice as well.
Yeah, they do a really good job. It's funny, like an audiobook, you mentioned it's like an audiobook. A bad audio describer can really ruin a movie, just like a bad narrator in a book can.
Yeah, totally. Just a quick interjection for Jim mentions that you can also pair the Apple TV with a Bluetooth keyboard or a refreshable braille display for easier typing.
Absolutely.
Good tip.
You got it. And you can also pair it with a Bluetooth speaker or pair it with a, I shouldn't say Bluetooth speaker. I'm not 100% on that. I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can. But you can absolutely use your HomePod or HomePod Mini as speakers as well, too. So if you don't want it coming through.
TV on.
Well, you know, no, you probably wouldn't. But you, I at home in our living room, I just have them connected to 2 HomePod Minis, which sounds much better than the
stereo sound.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. All right. So if you start watching something and description does not start, and this is going to be true if it's an iTunes content, an Apple TV Plus content, Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, doesn't really matter. The process is basically the same to enable audio description. What you're going to do is while the movie is playing or pause, we can go ahead and hit the
controls.
We can go ahead and swipe down On the
Controls.
little keep,
Actions available.
that little select button, that touch sensitive, if we go ahead and swipe down on it, is it going to pop up? Or is it going to be
Actions available. Media controls.
there? No, no,
Actions
come on.
available. Selected
There it goes.
info
Good.
tab 1 of 3.
So we get, side note, it's funny because we did this in Disney Plus and it was the opposite. So in Netflix, you can't swipe down. You have to use the down arrow. In Disney Plus, down arrow didn't work. You had to swipe down. So either try swiping down or hit the down arrow. One of the two will pop it up. And this comes up with kind of controls that you can use to do a bunch of different things regarding the content. And there are some tabs again.
Actions available.
First of all, can be a tab to switch through a bunch of different chapters if you want to. So if you want to move around by chapter, let's go ahead and hit our right arrow.
I think you might need to hit you down again.
Oh, did it go away? There it goes.
Selected. Subtitles tab.
We have
2
a
of 3.
subtitle, so we can go down and choose different subtitles. We're going to do one more.
Audio tab 3
We
of 3.
want audio, so we're going to hit down, go in there.
Full dynamic range button.
Now I'm going to
1
go
of
over
2.
to the left.
Selected English AD button 1 of 3.
And now we have 3 audio tracks. English AD, you always hear AD, that's audio description. So you're going to go ahead and choose that one. Mine is already selected. If I go down,
Spanish button. English original.
There's
button,
English
2 of 3.
original. So that would obviously be the normal audio track without audio description, or we can do Spanish as
3 of
well
3.
too. So once you choose your audio description track,
English
then
AD
it will
1 of
go
3.
away, and then you've now
Actions
chosen that audio description track. Now, what I've also found,
Actions
both
available.
again for pretty much all of the different apps, Netflix,
Actions
Prime,
available.
Hulu, Disney Plus, once you
Actions
choose
available.
the audio description track,
Actions available.
all right, there's actions
There
available.
are
I
actions
gotcha.
available. I
I
really
gotcha,
need to
I
know.
gotcha. Once you choose
To
the audio
98%
trip,
match,
oh, now it's going to
2003.
read it.
PG-13,
Now
1
it's gonna read
hour,
it.
49 minutes. Posing as a school teacher, a down
This
on
is
his
live
luck guitarist, Siri
demonstration
turned
at
his
its
class
best.
into a
It
rock
didn't want to
band
do it
and
when we
chose
wanted
Exactly.
it to. I'm going to go
Howard
back
Roddy
out
popular
here.
on Netflix. Selected.
Okay,
School of
hopefully,
Rock, 2 of
hopefully.
It might
75.
read it again here. Let's see.
It's good. It's good.
To
Right?
98%
Nope,
match,
now it's
gonna read it
2003.
again.
1 hour, 49 minutes. Pub selected. Movies, 4 of
There
6.
we go.
Okay, there we
All
go.
right. What I found
Match,
is that
PG-13.
49
49 minutes.
reading
Posing as a
this.
school teacher, a down on his luck guitarist. Netflix. Row 2.
Okay.
Column 1.
Once you choose the audio description track once, it will most of the time default to audio description if there is one available.
Excellent.
So it's kind of nice. You don't have to go in and change it each and every time.
Mhm. Cory, we only have 5 minutes left, believe it or not. It's flown by, but the process for the old Fire TV there, the Amazon Fire TV.
Yep.
Pretty similar kind of process.
Yeah, so with the Amazon Fire TV, it's going to be that's going to again use the up, down, left, right, center, and OK in the center.
Mhm.
Its home screen is a little bit different than the Amazon or than the Apple TV, but again, you're going to utilize those 4 arrow keys to move around with the screen reader going. It's going to read all the things back to you. I almost think that we can't do it September 30th, but I almost wonder if we need to extend this one more time and do the Fire Stick, because I would like, you know what, people throw it in the chat. Be honest. If you would like to see a session dedicated to the Fire Stick, let us know, because one of the things that we didn't get to on this, and we can wrap it up here in a moment, is using Siri,
Yes.
but also Alexa being built into the Amazon Fire TV is really cool. So throw it in the chat if you want us to do if you want us to do a specific.
We have at least one yes in uppercase with 2 exclamation
All
marks.
right, we'll do it.
And we
That's
have
all
0 no's.
All right,
So,
well,
I mean,
1-0 will win.
if anybody
All right.
has a no, though, I mean, get it in the chat quickly.
Let's go real quick as you put that in. One thing I want to mention about the Amazon, about the Apple TV, we looked at Netflix, but really all the other apps are very similar. Disney Plus, Hulu. It's going to be a very basic, same navigation style, moving around and playing content. So once you sort of learn one, you're pretty much good to go on all the others. Now, one of the other things you can use is Siri built in. Now, we're pretty familiar with how Siri works on our iPhone and our iPad. But one of the upsides to using Siri on our Apple TV is asking for specific content. So let's say we wanted to resume that School of Rock on Netflix. Let's see if we can get Siri to do it. Sometimes it's difficult, but I think we're going to be able to do it this time. Watch School of Rock on Netflix.
School of Rock, 1 of 4.
All right, so here is some search results. And the first one here is School of Rock, and we probably want that, so let's hit OK.
Selected. Netflix, Rock menu, watch now, tab, 1 in progress. Try Paramount Plus free, button.
And we now,
School of Rock, 7 days
it's
free,
trying to show us in Paramount Plus, which is sort of annoying, but let's come down.
From $2.99, add to up next, button. Episode 1, come together,
no.
Dewey,
I know
selected,
why.
Oh, it's
season
a
1.
TV show.
It's a
Oh.
TV show.
So let's go back,
Menu, watch now, tab, 1
and
of
let's
7.
go back again.
Netflix, row 2.
And let's do that
column
search
1.
again. So that first one was the TV, not the movie. Watch the School of Rock movie on Netflix.
School of Rock, 1 of 2.
So now that first one we probably know is the TV show.
Rock and Roll High School,
Maybe
2 of
not.
2. School of Rock, 1 of 2.
You know what, Siri? You sometimes just like to
I'm
be
gonna
the
tell you, it
definite.
looks visually like. Wait. Oh no, mate. I don't know.
Well, let's try.
Try it.
Selected.
I actually have no idea.
Netflix, row 2,
There's
column bio
Netflix.
rent, button.
So, okay, now I think we
School
got
of
it.
Rock, $14.99.
Now let's go
Try
down.
Paramount Plus free,
No,
button.
it's again.
Add to up next, but trailers. School add to up net trailers related. Bad New How to Watch. Buy $14
No.
cast and crew. Jack Black How to Watch.
Oh, this
Buy
is weird.
$14.99.
It's
1 of 5.
Oh,
Rent $3. Try it free.
No.
Get Paramount Plus app. Open in Prime Video app. 5 of 5.
oh, that's so.
Close.
But it is in Netflix.
Get
So
try it free.
it's
7
weird
days
because
delayed.
usually here it will allow us to use a different app than what it's wanting. But it looks like Netflix. I wonder if they've removed your ability to use Siri.
That would be weird.
The Mighty Ducks, 2 of 32.
Yeah, well, now
Bad
move
News
to
Bear,
something
How
else.
to Watch.
Yeah.
Cast and crew also included in these collections.
Yeah,
About.
weird.
School
So
of
in
Rock,
conclusion,
comedy, more.
it's a
1
bit
of menu.
complicated to do
Watch
that.
now.
Well,
tab, 1 of 7. Netflix,
this
row
time
2,
it is.
column 1.
This time it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually you're able to ask Siri to bring up specific things. You can even ask it a lot of times, like, let's see if this works real quick. Show me the Friends episode that starred Brad Pitt.
Sorry, I can't help you with the iTunes store on your Apple TV.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
Sure, Siri. Whatever you say.
Siri might be having some difficulties today. Typically,
Netflix,
it
row
will,
2,
you don't
column
even
1.
have to give it a specific episode. You could say the one starring Brad Pitt, or you could say, let's try this. Show me Friends season 4, episode 5. Let's see if that'll work.
Which one? Season 4, episode 5, 1 of 2.
There we go. So that one, this time it worked.
Mhm.
And then I
Buy
don't,
from $2.99.
so now you could
button.
go ahead and buy or rent this TV
Friends,
show.
the one
And I'm
with Joey's
guessing
new
that in
girlfriend.
general, they're going to suggest
Netflix,
the
row
Apple
2,
TV
column 1.
option first.
They typically do,
Hmm,
yes.
Funny how that works.
Yes, they
isn't it?
typically do.
Very strange. I assume you can also use Siri just to open up the different
Yeah.
channels. and
Infuse,
so on
Yeah,
and
Row
so
so
forth.
we
Prime
can
Video.
say open Netflix.
Mhm.
Prime selected. Movies selected.
There we go.
Movies 4 of 6.
Yep.
Okay.
98% Matt
We could
2003.
also ask Siri the
2013
time
Prime
and
Video.
or
Recently
she'll
updated.
do
Row 2,
internet
column
questions and
5.
things like that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not even sure.
Let's go.
Who is the president right now?
Sorry, I can't search
Yeah.
for that here.
I didn't
weird.
think it could. I think
That's kinda
unlike
weird.
Alexa, which is why I sort of wanted to show it, it will do
Yeah.
some of that.
Yeah.
Siri is really kind of geared to just things specific here, the TV watching, movies, but you can do some smart home stuff. So if
Okay.
you do have home set up and some smart home stuff, you can do it.
We
as well.
are totally out of time
Let's
here,
do
but
it.
I do have a question.
Yes.
I noticed that there was a rotor gesture option in the settings. Have you ever looked at that?
Prime Video.
So
Recently
on the
updated. Row
old
2,
remote,
column
you
5.
could do the rotor gesture. I'm not 100% sure how
It
you
did have
do
an
it.
option in the settings. I wonder.
I'm
If you
not
did Prime
100%
Video,
how
recently
can I do
updated.
it on
Row
the
2,
touch.
column 5. Games
Yeah.
folder. 44 items.
There you go.
Speaking rate. Red screen after delay.
Yeah.
Speaking
Ah,
rate.
So you can do it on the little guy.
Red screen after speaking rate. 50,
Okay.
45, 50, 55%.
So if you're familiar with the rotor gesture on iPad and iPhone, you can do it on the little touch pad.
Good luck getting your fingers on there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, that was a good bit of TV watching. I was kind of hoping we get to watch a movie, but I guess maybe next time.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
more time.
Yeah, we need more time. We're going to get more time because we have 3 votes to 0.
Okay,
For yes,
let's do it.
further television.
Well, I appreciate those who may have wanted no, they didn't put it in. I appreciate
Yeah, they thought it, but they did
restraints.
not say it. So yeah, we'll cover the Amazon Fire TV Not next time, because next time is our special episode, but the time
Yeah.
after that. And again, just a reminder, next time, 2 weeks from today, if you want to join us at 10, you can use the normal link to join us at 10, and we will be doing stuff all the way through to after midday. But if you just want to join us for Tech Talk Live, that's fine. Use your link and join us at 11 instead.
You got it.
Okay, Cory, quickly.
Yeah.
I was meaning to ask you, so I'm going to do it live on air.
Mhm.
I think people who were on the show last week may have heard that you moved into a new house.
I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
My question is, have you sold your old house yet?
I did.
Hey!
I did over the weekend. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Follow-up question. Did you receive the monetary compensation that you were hoping for?
Better than I was hoping for. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
$7 million.
Well, that
I'm
is
just kidding.
significantly more than I thought you were going to settle. Well, if the person who purchased your house is watching us today, then congratulations on your new house. And
Enjoy the pool.
I hope you enjoy the pool. Exactly.
Yeah.
And with that, thank you all for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Bye, all.
Thanks for joining us for another Tech Talk Live. If you enjoyed Cory and Luke's antics, join us again in 2 weeks. To register, visit vision-forward.org/Tech Talk Live.